a 140-pound Doberman that every neighbor called a ticking time bomb wouldn't stop breaking into their baby's room at 2:34 a.m. every single night. What this family discovered he was actually protecting her from will make you question everything you think you know about dangerous dogs. This is Titan, this is 18-month-old Emma, and this is the night that proved everyone catastrophically wrong. 6 months ago, the Anderson family adopted Titan from a high-kill shelter in Phoenix. He was 4 years old, massive, with cropped ears that made him look like he belonged in a prison yard, not a suburban home. The shelter volunteer pulled Sarah aside before the paperwork was signed. Look, I have to be honest. Titan's been returned twice. Both families said he was too intense around their kids. Are you absolutely sure about this, especially with Emma being so young? Hey, if you're still watching but haven't hit that subscribe button yet, honestly, that makes me wonder if you're ready for what's coming, because this story goes somewhere you won't expect. Hit subscribe real quick. You'll understand why in about 90 seconds. Sarah looked at her husband, Mike, then down at Emma sleeping in her stroller. "We're sure," she said, but the drive home, she couldn't stop second-guessing herself. What if they were making a terrible mistake? What if Titan hurt Emma? What if every expert was right and they were just naive first-time dog owners playing with fire? The first week proved everyone's fears justified. Titan wouldn't leave Emma alone. When she crawled across the living room floor, he followed. When she ate in her high chair, he positioned himself underneath. When Mike carried her upstairs for bedtime, Titan would sit at the bottom of the stairs, ears forward, watching them disappear into Emma's nursery. "He's obsessed with her," Sarah's mother warned during a visit. "Dobermans have something called resource guarding. What if he starts seeing Emma as his property? What if he attacks someone who gets too close?" Mike installed a baby gate at the bottom of the stairs, then a second one at the top. Titan's massive frame would sit at the bottom gate every night, staring up at Emma's closed nursery door like he was standing guard over something precious. But here's what the Andersons didn't know. Here's what nobody knew. Every single night at exactly 2:34 a.m., after the house went completely silent, Titan was doing something that would have terrified them if they'd known. He was breaking through those gates, both of them. Week 12 brought the discovery. Mike woke up at 3:17 a.m. to use the bathroom. Emma's door was cracked open. His heart stopped. He pushed it open slowly, expecting the worst, and found Titan lying next to Emma's crib, not touching her, not making a sound, just lying there, his head tilted up, nose twitching, eyes locked on something Mike couldn't see. "Sarah!" Mike's voice cracked with panic. "Sarah!" She ran into the room, saw Titan, and her face went white. "Oh my God, how long has he been doing this?" They checked the security camera footage every single night for 3 months. At exactly 2:34 a.m., Titan would push through the first gate, then the second, pad silently up the stairs, nose Emma's door open, and take his position. He'd stay for exactly 47 minutes. Then he'd leave, pulling the door closed behind him with his nose, and return to his bed downstairs. "He's stalking her," Sarah's mother said when she heard. "You need to get rid of that dog before something terrible happens." Mike called an animal behaviorist. The woman watched the footage and frowned. "This isn't stalking behavior. He's not interested in Emma at all. Look at his body language. He's not looking at her. He's looking at the wall? The floor? I don't understand." 3 nights later, Mike decided to stay awake and watch. At 2:34 a.m., like clockwork, he heard Titan's paws on the stairs. Mike crept to Emma's doorway and watched. Titan positioned himself in the exact same spot as always, nose pointed down and to the left, toward the wall that separated Emma's room from the basement. And then Mike saw it. Titan's nostrils were flaring. His body was rigid. He wasn't guarding Emma. He was detecting something. At 2:47 a.m., Mike felt lightheaded. By 2:51 a.m., he had to sit down. By 2:53 a.m., he realized he couldn't remember the last time they'd checked the carbon monoxide detector in the basement, the one right below Emma's room. The one that had been chirping for weeks until Mike removed the battery, assuming it was just dying. He stumbled downstairs, grabbed his phone, and called 911. "I think we have a carbon monoxide leak. My dog's been acting strange and I feel dizzy." The firefighters arrived in 7 minutes with detectors. The reading in Emma's room, 87 parts per million, dangerous level. The reading in the basement directly below, 143 ppm, critical level. "Another hour or two at these levels," the fire captain said, looking at Emma sleeping peacefully in Sarah's arms outside, "and we'd be having a very different conversation right now." They discovered a cracked heat exchanger in the furnace. It had been leaking carbon monoxide into the basement for months, slowly seeping up through Emma's floor every night in the early morning hours when the heating system ran on its nighttime cycle. The colorless, odorless gas that humans can't detect, but Titan could. The Andersons installed 3 new CO detectors and replaced the furnace. Titan stopped breaking into Emma's room at 2:34 a.m. He didn't need to anymore. "Everyone told us he was dangerous," Sarah said, sitting on the floor while Emma used Titan's back as a pillow during afternoon cartoons. "Turns out the only dangerous thing in this house was our ignorance." That shelter in Phoenix, the one that almost put Titan down after his second return, they now have his story printed on their wall, because sometimes the dogs everyone calls dangerous are just the ones who see threats nobody else can. Sometimes the too intense behavior isn't aggression, it's dedication. And sometimes the dog that terrifies everyone is the only thing standing between your family and disaster. Would you trust a 140-pound Doberman that broke through barriers every night to watch your sleeping baby? Or do you believe some rules are meant to be broken?